In this episode, we're diving into the world of organizing tools, what works, what doesn't, and how to avoid the trap of thinking that products alone can solve our clutter problems. We'll be chatting to Tasha from Get Organized HQ right before the upcoming Get Organized HQ Summit, where we'll be delighted to be contributors. Whether you're a basket lover, a label fanatic, or a spreadsheet queen, this conversation is all about staying intentional and realistic with your organizing habits. Let's talk about the tools, systems, and how to ask why before you buy.
You're listening to the Declutter Hub podcast, bringing you tried and tested, no nonsense tips and advice from the leading experts in decluttering and organising your home. Now, here are your hosts, Ingrid Jansen and Lesley Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Lesley. Now, if you're here for the very first time today, or you've been listening in for ages, we want to say a huge thank you. And we have a little favour to ask.
If you like what you hear, be sure to hit that follow or subscribe button, share us with your friends, or leave us a review. It makes a huge difference to us. Hello and welcome, Tasha, to the Declutter Hub podcast.
Hello, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, of course, we already had the pleasure of being on your podcast, so we're so glad that you're now coming onto our podcast to tell us more about organizing tools. But of course, after the break, we're also going to talk about the Get Organized HQ Summit that is happening in the beginning of September. And for the first time, we're there. We're included. We're so happy.
We're
Thank
going to
you.
be presenters. It's awesome.
Thank you so much. Gosh, yeah, can't believe it, Lesley. I mean, it's fantastic, right? First time included in the Get Organized HQ Summit. We were delighted when you reached out to us. We've recorded our presentations. It's all now in the works, isn't it? It's all happening. So yeah, we definitely want to know more all about the summit. We're going to talk about that later. But Lesley, what do we want to talk about first with Tasha?
Well, I just thought it would be really handy to kind of dig into another expert in the organizing industry about tools that you can use to help you declutter and organize your home. Because Tasha and Laura are incredible at sharing fantastic tools that are really going to help you. So obviously, you know what we think, so we have a kind of bit of a love-hate relationship with organizing tools sometimes. And so we wanted to talk a little bit more, delve into that, Tasha. So let's go, right, let's cut to the chase here. Tools can be, in the one sense, really helpful, and then the other way is a distraction because we're too focused on the tools and not enough about the organizing. But having said that, there are loads of tools out there that are fantastic, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the first questions to ask when you're thinking about an organizing tool is, do I actually have this problem? One of the keys of any company that is marketing anything or selling anything, they want you to decide that you have a problem so that they can sell you the solution, right? So if you are just at the store and there's this tool and it's like, man, this tool is going to organize all of my spice packets or my spice jars or, like however you organize those. And like, you don't actually have a problem with those. Like you can find all of your spices. They're not cluttered. That is the situation where bringing in a tool when there wasn't a problem might actually make a problem where there wasn't a problem to begin with.
Absolutely. And sometimes there is an argument for an aesthetic upgrade sometimes.
Oh, sure.
Sometimes we want things to look nicer. And I think that's
Yes.
it. But I think you're absolutely right. You need to delve deep, depending where you are on your decluttering journey as well, because I think we can also be forgiven for thinking that that's going to fix things and actually not get to the heart of the matter. So it's all about the right time, really, isn't it, to look into these tools?
Yeah. And what we typically say is that you really only need two things for a space to be organized. You need to know where things are. You need to be able to find it if you're looking for it. And the space needs to make you happy. And so when you mention like the aesthetic, I would say that is the second piece of that. And if you have a space and you can find where everything is, but you're like, oh, like it really annoys me that when I go to different stores and buy different spices, they're all in different jars and they're all different heights. And like I have to dig behind the tall ones to find the other ones. Like the aesthetic can be a problem in and of itself. That might be the problem that you're looking to fix so that you can feel like the space is organized. So you can have that like, oh, yes, like I like how this space looks and functions. And so, like you said, I think holding both of those out, that it's totally valid to reorganize something or to upgrade something to get the look that you're going for is valid. It's just that not every single tool that said that it's going to change your life is actually going to change your life, or at least not for the better.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important. I think we focus a lot here, as you probably know by now, after probably watching our presentation and stuff for the summit. The emotions behind the clutter are really important to us. And also we focus a lot on the decluttering piece, because Lesley and I are professional organizers ourselves. We've worked within people's homes in thousands and thousands of houses and different clients. And a lot of people want to focus all the time on the organizing solutions, right? They want to, first question, what baskets or things do I need to buy to get organized? And we always say that comes later. It can be definitely helpful, but you need to first know where you're going to put the stuff, and actually, do I need to keep the stuff in the first place, or does it not enhance my current life, my current thing that's important for me, my lifestyle? Do I need to keep it in the first place? Then the second question is, okay, if I decide to keep it, where am I going to put it? Then a temporary storage solution or a tool is fine. And then indeed the last level is, do I want to make it look really nice? Do I want to find something that makes it look and feel better for me? So I think a lot of people, and I'm wondering if you see that as well. What do they want to focus on, the boxes and the containers and the things and all of that, before they even go, but hold on a minute, do I actually want this stuff in my life?
Right. And I think some of that comes from, we live in a very visual society with Instagram, and it was Pinterest before that, and even TikTok, and you see the finished product. And one of the easiest things to latch onto anytime you see a finished product is, oh, like, look at those clear acrylic containers. Look at how they color coded all of their sparkling water flavors, is what it always seems to be, right? And so it's easy to say, well, what's in that picture that I don't have? And let me go add that to my space. And then I can recreate that picture in my home. But the other thing that I would encourage you, if you're looking at a finished product, a reel or a TikTok or whatever it is that you're, whatever platform you're on, look at how much breathing room is in the space. So many organized spaces actually have like blank space between the baskets. They're not overstuffed. There isn't stuff pouring out of one basket into the other. And the only way that you can achieve that piece of it is, like you said, to start with decluttering. It's been said 1,000 times, you can't organize clutter. If it's not something that belongs in this space, it's not going to end up being an organized space, because there's still things there that aren't serving this space. And so I think that's just like an interesting, like, do a little like deep dive into like, okay, like I see the cute baskets, but like, let's look past those. If I put those baskets in my space, would my stuff actually even fit in them? And if it wouldn't, then you're not going to get that end result until there's less stuff in the space.
Absolutely. No, you're so right. So I think, yeah, we've definitely got our point across about the decluttering side of it, of course, that people would expect. But there are tools out there that are fantastic. So let's go back to basics then, Tasha, and determine what's your favorite organizing tool out there that you think that every home should have. We've all got them. What's yours? And we're gonna give you one, well, maybe two,
Okay.
because you're the guest.
Okay.
Maybe two.
Well, so I will say, I think everyone's organizing style is different. So like, my favorite, you might hear this and be like, I would never, like I could not. But I love any form of matching basket. So I don't care what kind of basket it is. I have wicker baskets in my office. I have a giant rope basket in my living room. I have the cube storage bins in another part of my living room. But for me, I have found there are so many things in my house that I cannot keep in perfect order. First example I can think of, back when I first got married, my husband had all this video game controller stuff, and it's just not something I'd ever had before or had to organize. And I kept trying to like neatly arrange the video game controllers like in order. Let's keep all of this organized. And it never stayed. It didn't even look good when I was done. Like, I mean, those things were not made to be like nicely stacked next to each other. And so I finally said, okay, I'm going to get a little basket and put it here. And as long as every video game cord and controller and game console card thing is in this basket, that's okay. That's where it belongs. It's no longer on the living room floor. It honestly looks better than when I tried to set it on the shelf and it was all just this unmatching conglomeration of things. And so that might be like cheating because like who's gonna be like, oh yeah, a basket. Like what a revolutionary organizing idea. But that is in 9 times out of 10, if I have a space that I'm struggling with, some sort of basket. And if I were to take that a step further, if you're going to have more than one basket in your space, just be sure they match. And that's where it comes down to aesthetic. I love some of the like earth tones, like wicker baskets type things. That's what I like in my home. But if you're working in a kid's playroom, they make some really fun, colorful baskets or those cube storage bins that have like the animals printed on the front of them, and things like that. Like it really doesn't matter what the basket is as long as it fits in the space. And then if you're going to have more than one, make them match. And that is going to give you a place to put things. And it's probably going to give it that organized aesthetic just because everything is all matchy matchy, as they say.
And you know, it sounds simple, of course, but it's not. A lot of people don't do that and have this mishmash of sort of baskets that you've gathered over the years. And there's an argument for that. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
It's in a basket, it's containerized. That's the most important thing. But what we're talking about is trying to create a space that looks kind of more put together, that you've thought about the size, the shape, what's going in it, you know. So all of the things that you said, even though you're like, oh, it's just a basket, you've talked about all of the things, you know, the size of it, what's going to go in it, is it going to be overflowing, is it different in different rooms, what suits your aesthetic, whether it's a kid's room, whether it's a living room.
Yeah.
And so those are all important things. So I know it's just a basket, but I think you've covered a lot of bases there, Tasha, to be fair. What do you think, Ingrid?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it also then makes you think about, does this basket need to have a lid or not?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that depends on the place where you're going to store it. So
Right.
probably in a garage or a shed or anything, you probably want to have things with lids because those areas are more dusty, like a basement, a loft. So more dust, more, so a lid is probably helpful. But if I look at the baskets already now behind you in your home office, I see they're beautifully matched. They're open, so it's easy for you to put something in, but also retrieve something. So it would not make sense to have lids on them. And also, probably inside your house, it is less dusty, so it makes sense.
We hope.
We hope. So it would make sense to have less lids unless you want to stack things. So picking the right basket is a whole mission in itself because you have to measure the space. You have to really think it through. You have to think about the depth and the height and all of those things. So, and your basket. I'm not a wicker basket fan, as many of our listeners know, but they look lovely behind you on your shelves. I mean, I can
Right.
completely see what you mean.
Yeah, for sure. And that is where, so it depends on knowing your personality, but you're talking about measuring the space. And I will tell you, the first time I tried to organize these shelves, I tried to make a 100% like I sketched it. Like I drew it, I measured it, I knew all the dimensions of the shelf, and I was like, okay, like I'm going to get these things. And I get online and I'm looking at the dimensions of things. And I don't know if I measured wrong. I don't know if the description of the baskets online was wrong, which is very possible that, I needed it to be 13 inches and it was really like 13 3/4, and that's not 13 and it's not going to fit on the shelf. And one thing that I have found in most of my organizing projects is I overbuy baskets knowing that I will return them. Like I want to overbuy to the point that I would be ridiculous to not return them. If you have like one thing and it barely fits, It's really a hassle to return it. But if I like buy 2 full sets of baskets and I say, I'm going to see which one of these fits better, I don't even know how many of which size I need. I just bought myself 47 baskets and I probably need a grand total of 12. I am going to return the other, 35 baskets that I didn't use because that is a lot of money. What am I going to do with 35 empty baskets? And so I have found for my personality type, like I said, you've got to know your personality and know that you're going to do it. Maybe put an appointment on the calendar with yourself. Like, if I don't have these used a week from Tuesday, I'm making the return that day. But that has saved me a lot of trouble when it comes to an organizing project because there is nothing more frustrating than being in the middle. You have the room torn apart, you have everything taken off your shelves or out of your pantry, and you're putting it all together. And oh, I thought that this basket was going to fit. I thought that I could fit 3 of these containers across based on the measurement, but my cabinet has an overhang on the sides and I can't get them in and out. And so, like, that kind of thing, it always comes up. And so that is why for me, I have found overbuy and make it to where you are going to return those because you bought way more than you needed.
I think that's a really good tip, actually. You know, and it gives you a little bit of choice, doesn't it, as well? You can look and see how it fits and see what you prefer and things like that. It's the same with hangers. You know, a lot of people that we work with will do like a hanger swap from wooden and plastic over into velvet or flock hangers. And we're like, you will need so many more than you think you're going to need. People are like, oh, I'm going to buy like 25 hangers. We're like, that's not even going to touch the surface of what you need. You need it hundreds, but you need to be able to take them back because what you don't want is loads of excess hangers. And so, as you said, but it's important to know that you're going to actually do that, because if you're somebody who's got Amazon parcels and never does returns, then that's a dangerous place to be, right? So, so much good information. Just talking about a box, Tasha.
And maybe that's already again a point of how important it is to declutter and determine the space and have less stuff around you. So when you do get boxes in and you want to kind of put that all in place, you need to have the space to make that happen. And you need to have the space to go, oh, that doesn't fit. And now, oh, here's the pile of stuff I'm going to return. You can't do that in a very cluttered house because it will maybe get lost, other things get put on top of it, because this is never like a 1 hour thing, right? This is I know, right? Especially if you want to kind of do a lot in one go and you're working on a pantry or you're working on bedrooms or anything like that. That's never, oh yeah, it's an hour work. We know that. But when you're in the thick of it, you might not realize that all of these things, these phases of getting to a finished state, take time.
Yeah, definitely.
So Tasha, one other organizing tool, more of a sort of standalone, I'll give you an idea. Mine is a baking tray, upright baking tray holder. So that would be something that I think can be, I just want to say it's my favorite tool, but I think it's something that can be an absolute game changer in a kitchen space. What's yours, Ingrid? Your one?
Oh, tricky, because I think I would have said baskets, but I can't pick that one now, of course.
Well, we'll give you
I've sold you. I've convinced you it's baskets.
I mean, we definitely need baskets. I'm not organizing a kitchen with one baking tray or upright holder, to be fair. So I think baskets are more important, but it's a little bit like whenever I've used it, it's one of those things where people go, why have I been dragging my baking trays out from underneath all the time when I can actually have them all upright and they just slot in and out quite nicely? So that's my one. Ingrid can't remember. Have you thought of one now?
Yeah, I think it must be. I mean, for an organizing tool, I do love a label maker. I do use them a lot with, because they're so handy, not only for baskets, but also for shelves. They're handy I use them a lot when I do filing cabinets with hanging files. And I use like L folders, which are open at the top and the side, and I label the folder and I label the hanging file. So yeah, I think a label maker for me is really on the top of my list of things.
So Tasha, go for it.
Extra large spice jars. So I love the aesthetic of matching spice jars with the matching labels. I actually just like cheated and bought them off Amazon, like already printed labels. I didn't even make them myself, But the problem I'd always had with those glass spice jars is that they are sold in about the same size that your spices come in from the store. And so you have to get to the very, very bottom of, your garlic powder before you can take the new garlic powder and put it in. And that's not helping me because now I have a nicely organized spice. I actually keep mine in a drawer, just because that's how my kitchen fits better. I don't have tons of upper cabinet space, so I just have a big pull-out drawer and they're all alphabetized in there. But I wish I could remember off the top of my head. Are they 4 ounces? I think they're like 4 point something out because I think your standard spice jar is somewhere around like 3.2.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. But just pay attention. Like go to the store and look at a thing of spice, like I don't know, your garlic powder. What size is it? And then when you go to buy the spice jars, make sure they're like an ounce and a half bigger because now when I'm starting to run low on paprika, I can go buy a standard packet or spice jar from the store of that. I can add it in and the entire thing fits. I don't have that like half inch of paprika left at the bottom. Now I have to go put that in a different cabinet somewhere until I have room to put it in. Like, yeah, extra large spice jars because I love them. I love them being organized, but I could not stand the whole like, well, what do I do with all these 7/8 used spices? You don't want to throw it away. Like,
Yeah, no, I think that's really, 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 really good advice actually as well. We could sit here and wax lyrical about organizing tools all day, but
yes.
now I guess we need to talk about, well, we want to talk about the GOHQ summit that's coming up next month.
Yep.
And so let's pop to a little break and let's come back and carry on.
Hi everyone, welcome back. We're so happy to be chatting with Tasha from Get Organized HQ. And we're involved this year and we have a session for you at the summit, so we can't wait. But we could not have Tasha on the podcast to tell us more about it. And before the break, we were chatting about lovely organizing tools. But now, Tasha, tell us more about the Get Organized HQ virtual summit.
Yeah, so this is our 9th year doing Get Organized HQ Virtual, and every single year we find brand new presenters like y'all who've never come and joined us before, and so that's always really fun. That's something we are always on the lookout for. Is there's a good mix. If you've ever attended before, you'll see some old favorites who've been there before, and you'll see some new faces that we're excited to welcome in, and that just keeps things changing up and fun. But what it is it is a completely online virtual summit, virtual conference, whichever you want to call it, over 100 sessions that have been pre-recorded on everything relating to organizing and decluttering and setting up systems in your home and any topic that you want help with. So if you want to curate your wardrobe and get that down to the pieces that like actually fit and that you feel really good about and confident in, we have sessions on that. If you are like, I just need help getting started decluttering, we have a session called How to Start Decluttering When You Can't Walk into the Room. Like, if that's where you are, we've got the session for that. Or if you're thinking, you know what, I've decluttered, I've organized, but I don't love how my space looks, I need help with home decor. We have sessions on that. So it's over 100 sessions on every topic to help your life and home run more smoothly. And the best part is it is completely free to come hang out with us and see these sessions and see your session that y'all are presenting on the emotional connections to clutter. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yes. So our listeners will have heard that many, many times before. So they might be more interested in everybody else's sessions, but
Well,
I'm
a
sure
refresher.
they won't help but be able to watch ours as well.
Exactly.
So, so all these sessions are kind of like 20 minutes long, right, Tasha? So they're quite sort of
Yeah,
bite-sized.
yeah. I mean, it varies. Somewhere like let's say 20 minutes as a good average, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, and it takes place over how many days?
So it is 5, 6 days. It's Monday to Saturday. We end on Saturday morning. That's why I'm like, is it 5 days? Is it 6 days? I'm not really sure. But yeah, so starting on September 8th, at the time this is airing, you can actually already go ahead and grab your free ticket and say, like, hey, I want to go see these sessions. And so what'll happen is you'll grab your free ticket and we'll send you an email and be like, hey, we got you. Like, you're signed up for the virtual summit and you're going to get the links for these. And September 8th is when this all starts. And that morning, we're going to send you an email. We actually kick it off live. Laura and I will go live and just kind of start off the whole thing. We'll have over 1,000 people come on at the same time, just excited to get started watching these sessions. We'll do some giveaways. We'll talk about how to get the most out of the event and all of that. And then we kind of just like release it, right? You throw open the floodgates, and all throughout that week, Monday through Friday, I think it's from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., 2 sessions an hour are releasing. And so you'll have the schedule ahead of time so you can look over that. We actually have a personalized schedule generator that you can use too. So if you're looking at these over 100 sessions and thinking, I don't even know where to start, you can go it's like a little personality quiz, right? It's like, hey, like, which of these things are you most interested in? And it'll give you, hey, like these are the sessions, start with these if you're going to start anywhere. And then you can just go through and as they release, you can go and watch those. And anyone with the free ticket, they have 24 hours for every session. So I know we're over in the Eastern time zone in America. Your listeners may be anywhere, all over the world. But we have 24 hours for every session from the time that it releases, so that all time zones anywhere can hop on and tune in and get that free access.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think from our perspective, I mean, what we want to say is that, our interactions with you since you first invited us onto to the summit, Tasha, is that it's all super slick, really well organized, really well thought through. Tasha and Laura have obviously been doing this for many, many years. The quality of speakers is incredible. We're happy to be alongside loads of the speakers that are there. But I think you can expect something that's really professional and really organized from what we've seen so far. And so it's exciting. It's good to be a part, because we wouldn't be a part of anything. It's only if it's really well organized that we'll get involved.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't really say that, should I? But it's noticeable, and it's important, because we want people who are a little bit nervous about what that's going to look like, not sure where to go. You've got a wealth of kind of 100 sessions, that kind of overwhelm as well on day one. We need to be able to signpost people to get the most out of it. And you're certainly doing that in terms of the administration now. And I'm sure it'll be the same with your delegates on the day.
Yeah, that's our goal. And we have a incredibly responsive customer service as well. So if you ever are, you get your free ticket, you've got a question, a session isn't loading for you, you don't know where the link is, we put it all over where you can go to reach out to our customer service as well. And they pretty much live on their computer that week to answer any questions that come in. But we do our best to make it easy to navigate so that you can spend the most time watching these sessions and actually starting to get that inspiration. One thing that's really fun that we've started doing each year, we call it a midday meetup. So it'll be on that schedule. You sign up, you get your free ticket, you get the schedule. And I think Eastern time, is it at 3:30? I don't even know what time it is, sometime in the afternoon. But there's so much inspiration happening right at this event, and tons of good ideas. But it's easy to be glued to your computer or your iPad or your phone, and you're watching these sessions and you're taking notes. But like, where the difference happens is when you start applying it, and when you don't just hear the principles of, okay, here's some things to consider when you're going to declutter a space, but you actually go and you declutter a drawer in your kitchen, or you declutter your desktop in your office, right? And so these midday meetups that we do, the point is we give a 10-minute organizing challenge. Like, let's take a break from watching the sessions. Let's not take more notes. Let's not gather more inspiration, but let's instead come together and actually get one thing checked off the list, have that quick win and start building that momentum, because the point is to see those real tangible changes in your life and home so that you can live a life of less stress and more peace. It's not just to have the ideas up here in your head, but it's to get them lived out in your home.
Such a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. And I think so. If people want to join us, or join you and join us, basically.
Yeah, you too.
Exactly. Make sure you check out the show notes. So we'll put a link in the show notes where people can sign up. Lesley, top of my head, I think it's declutterhub.com/GOHQ. If I say that correctly.
Yeah,
so
declutterhub.com/GOHQ will get you to where you need to be. So do sign up to that. Obviously, Tasha's got loads of customer service and all that kind of stuff to help you along the way. But anything that we can help, we'll be putting out social media posts and things like that to promote it as well. So you'll see it in newsletters and social media as well, because we think it's such a great thing to be a part of. So just repeating now as well that it's the 8th to the 13th of September, so about 3 weeks from now, a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. And so
and sign up is open. So when this podcast is coming out, sign up is open. So do that immediately so you can get all of that sorted before you don't do a last minute dash. Get organized, right?
Yes.
And get that done. And I'm glad that you're saying it is indeed Eastern time. So
Yes.
that will
So like New York time is what
Exactly.
we're on. So
Exactly. So
Yeah.
for here in the UK, it will be 5 hours later. So 8 o'clock in the morning is about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So maybe it's helpful that, there's 24-hour access because people might, think I'm going to be asleep half the time.
Right.
So that's really, really helpful. What do people do if they're like, yeah, but hold on a minute, 100 sessions, 24 hours per day? I do have like family and work and
Yes.
kids, and I need to cook dinner. And if people want longer access, is that possible?
Yes. So two things I would say. The first thing, it's going to sound weird. We actually tell people, do not try to watch them all. Like, please
Okay.
don't. I actually had somebody one time, they're like, I'm going to like have a health emergency because I'm sitting here watching all these. I was like, do not do that. That is not what we are advocating for. So the first thing I would say is pick and choose the ones that apply to you and get those first and realize like nobody, like all 100 probably don't even apply. We have sessions on how to downsize if you are an empty nester and that's the season of life you're in and what you want to work on. And we also have sessions on helping your kids get organized and organizing their papers that have come in. And probably, most likely, the same person isn't going to both of those sessions. So it's totally okay to pick and choose. Don't feel the pressure to watch all 100 of them, but there probably will be more that you'd be interested in seeing than you can squeeze into a full day of work and of driving carpool and making dinner and doing laundry and like all of the things that are supposed to happen in a day, right? And so we do have an all access pass. And so that gives you lifetime access to all of the 2025 virtual conference sessions. So I think there's 112 sessions this year. You'll have all the recordings of those. You get all of the recordings of any of the live events. And so there are 2 to 3 live events every single day that are happening all throughout the day. So even on different time zones, we have some that happen each morning. So hopefully, y'all are 5 hours ahead of us and you can make some of those morning ones. But if you can't make the evening ones in the all access pass, once that 24-hour access has expired for the free viewers to go, view replays and stuff, those recordings will still be in there. There's tons of other bonuses in there. One thing people really enjoy is we take all the sessions and we put it into a private podcast feed. And so if just popping in earphones and listening to the audio as you're working out, as you're driving in the car, when you're mowing the lawn, wherever you listen to a podcast, that's one of the bonuses in the All Access Pass. There's transcripts of every session in the All Access Pass if you like to read along instead of just hearing the words spoken. So all of those things. And I will say during the week of the event, the all access pass is $49. So to get all of those sessions in US dollar, it's $49. If you are listening to this and the event has not started yet, there is actually a pre-sale price. So if it's not September 8th yet, definitely go check that out. When you get your free ticket, the first thing it's going to tell you about after you've gotten that ticket is, hey, do you want the all access pass? And the most awesome thing, not only of, getting the discount, that's probably the most awesome thing, it being a little bit cheaper before the event, but you actually get instant access. So if you're thinking, I'm inspired, I'm ready to dive in, I don't want to wait till September 8th, I have free time this weekend and I want to start organizing right now, with the all access pass, we are going to go ahead and release all 112 sessions to you. You don't have to wait until September 8th and you can start watching them today.
Wow, love it. Sounds amazing.
I know.
Very excited. So yeah. Well, thank you, Tasha. It sounds incredible. Excited.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of busy months ahead, right?
Just a little. It's all good.
Yeah, so it'll all be good. But thank you so much for sharing your tools as well, because there's so much good stuff within that. It was nice for us to have a little chat about what that looks like, and everyone's thinking now a little bit about their baskets and organising tools. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We've really enjoyed it. Ingrid.
Yes, listeners, I've really enjoyed this. I've never considered swapping over my spices to jars, but I'm going to keep Tasha's suggestion firmly in mind. If I ever do, I'm going to buy them a little bit larger. That was really, really good tip. And I would love to know from you listeners, what is your favorite organizing tool? Are you like baskets, label makers, bake tray holders? No, this is my favorite one. Let us know. Send us an email. Leave us a comment in the show notes. Reach out to us. Tell us on socials, because we're interested in what you think works for you. Or maybe you've got something you're like, I bought this and this was the worst thing ever. Let us know as well, because we like to hear these things as well, because, we can prevent other people from making the same mistakes. But for now, Tasha, thank you so much again for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you as a guest. And we can't wait for Get Organized HQ Virtual to get started on Monday, the 8th of September. But remember, you can get your free ticket already now. Go to declutterhub.com/GOHQ. So thanks everyone for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to the Declutter Hub podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us in your podcast player so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.